Hey, everybody, welcome back to season 31 of 7-Eleven Junior Hockey Magazine. I'm your host, Gino Reda. Time now for the CJHL Report. The Canadian Junior Hockey League brings together 115 teams in the 9 Junior A leagues involving over 2,500 players from right across the country. Our next guest has nearly 30 years of high-level coaching experience, including at the national and international levels. We're now pleased to be joined by Eric Thurston, the head coach and general manager of the Alberta Junior Hockey League's Drayton Valley Thunder. Eric, welcome to the show. How does it feel to hear you've got better than 3 decades of national and international hockey experience behind you?
Well, when you said that, it was honestly like, oh my goodness.
You started doing the math?
I started to do the math, and then I thought, gee, am I that old? But I guess, looking back on, starting out with playing, and then, my time at the U of A, and then traveling through Europe, it has really added up. But you realize when you're having fun and you're loving it, time goes pretty fast.
Rather than me trying to list your accomplishments and accolades over the year, as people listen to this across the country and watch on the podcast, give us a brief synopsis of your hockey DB and what you did at various levels.
Oh, well, I think it's probably, go back to, playing junior hockey back in the day with the Victoria Cougars. And I had a coach that some of the old timers will know by the name of Jack Shoup, who was just tremendous. And Gina, what a beautiful city Victoria is. So that was just a wonderful
There could be
experience.
worse places to play your junior career.
Oh, and then, the tough part, I back then, my dad is still a big golfer, but obviously in Edmonton, where I'm from, you're not golfing a lot. But I used to kind of phone and said, "Oh, Dad, it was a tough 18 holes today at the Gorge Vale or the different courses," as he's in minus 30 and snowing out. So no, Victoria was beautiful. And then after that, I had a brief stint. I was able to go to Holland and play for a year, and then I always wanted to go back to my my dad used to take me to the hockey games at Claire Drake Arena. Used to be called Varsity Arena back then, and we used to go to the games. And I remember watching some of the finals with Mike Keane and the University of Toronto Blues and those games. And it was just something I always truly was in my gut. And to be able to go back to the U of A, have Claire as my coach, wear the Gooba, and that was just really a great honor. And then to be able to go on and, I played 7 years in Europe, but part of my goal was to have somebody kind of cover my travel costs. And so getting over to Europe was kind of the deal. And then afterwards, I would just don my backpack as a young kid. I sometimes would have friends or family join me. And then it was off. And then the opportunity came back to coach at the University of Alberta came up when I came back was one summer. And boy, it was such a wonderful thing to be there, to be, under a guy that you might have met, but just really became such great friends with of Rob Daum, who was with the Oilers for a while and has been over to Europe. And then to be able to come in and be the head coach of the team you've always wanted to. But
where you had great success.
Well, it was a lot of help. The table was set, but a lot of the help came. The very first year I brought Claire Drake on as my coach mentor, and he came to the practices and he came to the games, and just his enthusiasm and his passion and his knowledge and just little things I remember. I remember he'd come down between periods. And our penalty killing wasn't quite as aggressive as he wanted. And he'd come in, he'd get down and he'd say, Eric, you need to get those guys in there. You need to be quick on them and you need to be jumping on. And it just really, and we'd come out of there as coaches, just all fired up. And then
because he's a coaching legend, one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, and just so much fun to be around. His passion, his knowledge, his willingness to share information with everybody. And it really put a great foundation, from playing there to being part of that success. But no, my time at the U of A was tremendous. And then here's a kind of a note, and I'll just things not to do. So on July 1st, I got a call, and it was about 4 a.m. And July 1st in Edmonton, in Canada, you're going to have some some celebrations.
Some
and we have a wonderful cul-de-sac where we live in, and it got to be a little bit too long. And then the phone rang, and my wife passed it to me. And when you get overseas calls, there's often a delay. And I thought it was just one of those things. And, unfortunately, I hung up right away. And then they called back again, and she goes, "No, I think you need to take this." And so at 4 a.m., I did my interview with a gentleman from the Hungarian Ice Hockey Federation. And it wasn't my best interview, but we kind of went and about an hour and 15 minutes later, still kind of half up in bed, I turned to my wife and I said, FYI, by the way, we're moving to Budapest. I've taken a job with the Hungarian Ice Hockey Federation. We have to be there in 6 weeks.
That's hilarious. That's
So,
hilarious. Now, all of that is a backdrop, and now you end up back in Drayton Valley. Where is Drayton Valley? Tell me what your situation is right now.
well, Drayton Valley is about an hour and 10 minutes from Edmonton, and it is just a wonderful community. It's those small town oil and gas Alberta places, and we've just, I've been here for 4 years now, and we've really built a nice program. And part of that program has been built with the philosophy coming from the U of A, and just things like, if you ever read the book about the New Zealand All Blacks, about legacy,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a rugby book, but it's a book about the culture. And
Yeah.
I knew I could relate to that culture coming from the U of A. And so we really had to first kind of change the culture of our dressing room. And it was simply, no heads. And we just brought in really good people. And that was the
That's way to go. That's getting right at it, eh? And
yeah
it's obviously worked for you because since 2018, since you've been there, you've already had 16 of your guys going to U.S. college and Canadian University hockey.
And that's the priority of moving the players on. And when you take on the position as coach and GM, you also take on the position of advisor and being able to try to get them to the next level. And we really take pride in getting our players better, but then also giving them opportunity to do that. But Drayton in the town, our facility, everything that's involved here, our billet families, obviously our ownership group. It has really been a great place to be. And it's funny, the connections that have come out of Drayton Valley. So Ken Hitchcock, his girlfriend or his wife was from here, and he knows this area very well, coming back golfing. And I remember Ken Hitchcock he used to work in a sporting goods store in Edmonton called United Cycle, and he used to be down below. So the 6 degrees of separation that come from
Yeah.
Drayton Valley makes it a really, it's a wonderful community, and I'm certainly really enjoying, my time being here in the Alberta Junior Hockey League.
You know what? I got to tell you, Eric, it's been a blast. I wish we had more time. It's been so much fun with your storytelling. You were talking about good books you read. At some point, you got to write a book because all the content you have, it would fill it cover to cover. Thank you for this. Congratulations on all you're doing there. Good luck, and we'll talk again down the road.
Gino, thank you very much.
That was Eric Thurston, head coach and general manager of the Alberta Junior Hockey League's Drayton Valley Thunder. Quite the character. And that wraps up our CJHL report, the Canadian Junior Hockey League. Your future is here. Still inside 7-Eleven Junior Hockey Magazine, he helped our nation win a bronze medal at the 2012 World Junior Hockey Championship, and now he's playing for the Montreal Canadiens. We'll check in with Brendan Gallagher in this week's edition of Where Are They Now? You're listening to Canada's only nationally syndicated junior hockey radio show, season 31 of 7-Eleven Junior Hockey Magazine. And don't forget, you can listen and subscribe to the complete podcast by checking out any of your favorite podcast platforms.